embodying your higher version and gaining absolute clarity on who she is and what she looks like or what he looks like is what today's episode is all about. I am Pratna and you're listening to Rebel with a Purpose. I am so excited for this episode because it's something very different from what I've done before. And to be very honest, I've barely prepared. I'm going to just intuitively channel what feels right in the moment. So let's see how that goes. And I'd love to know your feedback on this episode too, so that I can have more such intuitive episodes. Now, in today's episode, I really want to talk about how we can be a match to our higher version. What does that mean? What does it mean to be a match? It means to act like that version of yourself who already has everything that you are right now striving to achieve in your life. Now, if you knew that all the success that you wanted in your life was already yours, how would you show up on a daily basis? How different would your content be? How differently would you be talking to your clients, right? Would you chase? Would you be cold pitching? If you knew that you were already in demand, how would your content shift? How would your relationships start off? In what energy would you show up when you go on Instagram lives, when you collaborate, when you do podcasts? Now, this is a game-changing, rather a life-changing question, is that how would my higher version show up? And for that, I first want you to understand and get very clear on your desires. Now, envy is a great emotion over here. Envy helps you understand what you truly want in your life. Because a lot of times when we feel jealousy, it's because some part of us wants that thing that the other person has, right? And so I want you to ask yourself, where do you feel envious of other people? And what does that show you about yourself? Because emotions are great messengers. They're great communicators. All your emotions, every single one of them, even the negative ones, are actually communicating to great depths with you. Actually, the negative ones are probably giving you more of an insight into who you are and what you really desire in your life. So just being aware of these emotions and what they're trying to tell us is very important. Always remember, you are not your emotions. You are not your thoughts. You're just the observer. You are the observer of these emotions that run through your body. So when you feel envious, ask, what is this trying to show me about myself? Get curious about your life. Curiosity is literally the best frequency to be on. It helps you manifest. When you're curious about the possibilities that you can have in your life, it really accelerates the process of manifesting things. But be curious about the possibilities. Don't be curious about the negative what ifs. What if it doesn't work out? What if my flight gets delayed? What if this happens? What if that happens? Instead, ask, what if it turns out to be the best event in my life? What if me traveling across the globe gives me this whole identity shift that I then bring on to my clients and help impact on a deeper level? So whatever it is, I want you to be curious about the possibilities and the transformation in your life. And the first step to doing this is getting curious about your emotions and getting curious about your desires. What do you truly desire in your life? And are these desires soul-led? Are they aligned to your higher version, or are they ego-led? When I say soul-led, the desire comes from a place of authenticity, from a place of alignment, from a place of calm in your body. You might feel excited about it. That doesn't mean it's not soul-led, but it it comes from a place of knowing. You just know, you just have these downloads, or you see a vision and you just know that this is what I really want in my life. Or you might be envious of someone else who has something and then ask, why am I envious? Because maybe you truly desire it too, and maybe that's your soul-led desire too, which is why the envy comes up and it shows up that way. Whereas ego-led desires, now ego-led desires are things you think you should be desiring. For example, a great job, a high-paying job, Ferrari, a Lamborghini. It's these desires that come up when it's coming from a place of, I want to show, I want to prove a point. Those are ego-led desires that are ridiculed in fear, right? And so you will know the difference because your body will feel different when you think about these desires. One will be more chaotic or more revengeful or more haphazard, the energy, whereas a soul-led desire will be more forthcoming, more calm, more subtle maybe, but it's still a very deep desire you have. And the more self-aware you get, the easier it is to differentiate between your soul-led and ego-led desires. Like, for example, in college when I was in Singapore, my ego-led desire at that point of time was to be a marketer in P&G or Johnsons and Johnsons. And the reason was because my friends were doing that. So I looked around at what everyone else was doing and I was like, I should be following the herd too. There was a deeper desire to fit in, right? Now, this desire to fit in, we all have it. It is an ego led desire because it comes from fear. But that's not the point when it comes to the desire to fit in, the desire to be loved, the desire to be safe. All of these are basic human desires. Each and every one of us have that desire. So that desire of wanting to be seen and wanting to fit in made me have this secondary desire, which was to get a job in P&G and Johnson's and Johnson's. Little did I know that by fitting in, I'm actually disappearing because I am losing the identity of my higher version. I'm losing myself by trying to fit in and follow the herd, right? So I'm a rebel, as you know from this podcast named Rebel with a Purpose. I would always say question everything you're doing. So I started questioning whether this job is something I really want, whether this life of working 9 to 5 for someone else is something I really wanted. And I knew the answer instantly was no. That is not the kind of life I want to build. So I was like, okay, why am I working towards this? Why am I putting in hours every day in job applications when I don't even want that life? When you get curious, you get aware. And awareness is the first stage to healing, to change, to anything in your life, which is why curiosity begins that stage of awareness. So get curious, ask questions. If anyone tells you you're asking too many questions, like stay away from them or set a boundary. You need to be asking too many questions. Just ask and be aware and be conscious of every decision you're making in your life. It's your life at the end of the day. You don't want to be living it on autopilot, right? So the first step, get curious about your desires, get curious about your emotions, because your envy, that particular emotion, can tell you a lot about your desires. Cool. Now, let's go to step 2, getting clear on your higher version or your future self. Get clear on their habits, their behaviors, their confidence level, how they feel when they wake up, how they feel before they go to bed, their mindset. How are they thinking about money? How are they thinking about taking risks? How are they thinking about calling in your desires? Because they have already called in those desires. So how are they living their life? Knowing that they are in demand, knowing that people want to work with them, people want to pay them. I want you to really ask this question. If you really knew, because if you have a desire to be highly paid, or if you have a desire to impact deeply, then that means a version of you already exists who has already accomplished that desire. Remember, there are infinite versions of you. Infinite versions. There's a version of you that existed this morning. There's a version of you that is going to exist tonight. There's a version of you that existed yesterday, and there's a version of you that existed tomorrow, that exists tomorrow. There is a version of you that exists in other people's minds, and there's a version of you that exists in your own mind. Some people will think you're a genius at your craft, others will look at you as a beginner, right? Some people will think you're a student, others will look at you as a guide or a teacher. So there are multiple versions that exist of you, but the most important is the one that you think of yourself. That is what you bring to reality, what you think of yourself. Because people will view you from their lens of their trauma, of their past beliefs, their past patterns, and that is not the true version of you. The truest version of you is the version of you that you believe in, that you bring to life by your belief systems. So how you see yourself, which is called self-concept, is super important. So I want you to ask yourself and get clear about how you see yourself today, your self-concept today, versus the self-concept of your future version. Who is this future version and how is she living her life, knowing very well that all her desires have been achieved? And I'm sure she has more desires because, the human brain always wants more. So the desires are never fully done. So what are these new desires that she has? What does she want to do in her life? Get so clear about her day to day and about her habits that you can literally go talk to her. You can understand her energy and you can merge with her. And I have this beautiful meditation, Remember Your Worth, which is one of the episodes right before this one, will help you really connect with your future version. So after this, if you really want to connect with this person, please go do that meditation. It's absolutely brilliant. It's going to bring you so close to her and you're going to feel like you are already living this embodied version of your future self, which honestly you can today. You can live that version of yourself today. And that knowing that has given me so much freedom, so much liberation that I can be my future version today. Now, disclaimer, that doesn't mean you need to be happy and high energy all the time. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying, your future version also has low days. Your future version is also slowing down and resting and taking a break. So be realistic about this future version. There is no version of you that is always happy because that's not the human experience. The human experience involves ups and downs, and that's completely okay. Accepting that, releasing shame around that, releasing shame around having your down moments, releasing shame around your negative emotions, all of that is what's important for you to vibrate at the highest level of acceptance and authenticity. Authenticity is the highest vibration. When you release shame, you become more and more authentic. When you peel back the layers of fear, shame, what are people going to think? What if I'm too cringe? What if I'm posting too much and I'm annoying too many people? What if I fail? What if I don't make it? Get curious about the possibilities of what you're doing and understand deeply how you look at yourself today, because that's the most important version of you that exists. Now, when you've understood who this future version is, by asking the questions of how does she look? How does she dress? How does she talk? How does she walk? How does she feel when she wakes up in the morning? How does she sleep knowing that she's had a great productive day? Or how does she deal with rejection? How does she deal with failures in her life? How does she deal with low moments? How does she deal with grief? How does she deal with anger? How does she deal with situations that trigger her deepest insecurities? Because guess what? Your future version is also going to have insecurities. Your future version isn't healed too. Your future version is flawed. The only difference is that your future version deals with things differently. Your future version shows up differently. Your future version thinks differently about everything in life, about her mindset's different, right? So understand the gap between you today and your future version by asking yourself these questions, and then get clear on what's holding you back. What's holding you back from being your future version today? So that's step number 3, getting clear on what is holding you back. What limiting beliefs, what blocks, what mindsets are holding you back. Now, you don't always need to know the root cause, right? You don't always need to know where is this coming from or whose conditioning is this. Not always, but it could help your logical brain, because our brain loves logic. So it could help your logical brain understand that this is not mine, this is theirs, and give them the belief back so that you can build your own set of beliefs, right? So I just want you to know and ask yourself, what are you most afraid of happening? What are you most scared of happening if you show up as your future version today? What are you most scared of? Now, that could be a fear of success. Like, oh my God, if I have all this money, what am I going to do with it? How am I going to manage it? How am I going to handle it? It could be that too, right? So when you sit down and journal on this and ask yourself, like, what am I most afraid of happening when I meet this future, when I embody this higher version of myself today, you will get an answer. Whatever answer you get, I want you to ask, and what, and then, or and what, and then. You can ask this question to go deeper and deeper and deeper, or you can keep asking, okay, and what's the okay, and yeah, you can also say, okay, and what, right? So what's the worst thing that can happen if I make a lot of money? Say I become complacent and lazy and then I don't impact the world. Okay, and what happens if I become complacent and lazy and don't impact the world? I am worthless, I'm useless. Okay, and then people won't like me, people won't love me. If I don't impact, if I don't do things, people will think I'm a failure and people will not love me. Okay, and I'll be alone. I'll be left alone. I'll be lonely. So you go to the base fear and you challenge that. You will be lonely. You will be left alone because you are attaching your worth to your work, your productivity, and your impact. So what is the base fear? You will be lonely. People will not appreciate you. So at the end of the day, you realize that you're doing things for the validation of others. And this awareness helps you see that, no, I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I can, in fact, give myself that validation that I'm looking for from others. Generally, when you're looking for validation, it's a desire to be seen. So what part of you wants to be seen? And how can you see and value that part today? So when you keep going and going to the base fear and challenging it, you see what your body needs. Your body probably needs to feel more safe, which is whenever you have a fear, it's because you're not feeling safe, right? So where does your body need to feel more safe? Understand that aspect of where you need to feel more safe. Maybe you need to feel more seen. Maybe you need to feel more loved. How can you love yourself more today? How can you see yourself and value yourself more today? How can you set boundaries better? How can you make more time for yourself? How can you be more efficient with your time instead of procrastinating? All of that is our forms of self-love, right? So the base fear helps you kind of fulfill that on your own, challenge that belief, switch that belief, and give yourself what your body needs. When you give yourself what your body needs, you stop seeking it externally. You stop seeking it from other people. And then you start taking action because you don't need anything from anyone. And so all your action is soul led and aligned. So this is the most important part of today's episode is how can you see yourself? How can you love yourself first before you expect any validation from anyone else? You'll always feel empty when you expect it from externalities because they're always going to be unstable. The most unstable source of validation is anyone other than you because you are stable. You can rely on yourself. You can trust yourself. And that is a safe space you create in your nervous system when you can trust yourself, when you can fully depend on yourself. I always say the self-reliance is extremely underrated. How can you fully trust yourself? How can you make a promise to yourself, take action on it? Every time you do that, you build a muscle of trust with yourself. You say something, you do it, become that person where you can fully rely on yourself, where you can pick yourself when you are in your lowest moments, where you can take accountability for your life instead of blaming yourself and blaming the environment. Instead of that, where you can be like, I know that somehow this happened for me and I don't want to live like this anymore, or I don't want to live in this negative environment anymore, and take accountability and shift, right? And lastly, now that you know what beliefs are holding you back, what beliefs would your higher version have that you can inculcate today? What thought patterns would that version have that you can take on and try it on like a jacket? Just put it on like a jacket for a few minutes and see how life looks differently with this new set of beliefs. Truly believe it for a few minutes and see how different life looks. So how differently would you show up when you have these beliefs? Because your beliefs shape your identity, it shapes your sense of self. If you knew you could fully trust yourself, how differently would you show up? If you knew you could fully trust yourself, how differently would you show up? You would take more risks if you could fully trust yourself. You would quantum leap in business if you fully trusted yourself, right? Because you would take more risks and know that, okay, even if it doesn't work out, I know I can manage it. I know I'm the person who can manage it. That's what your future version believes. That's what you need to believe today to then take those risks. So that's a little bit of a mindset shift, right? For example, if you believe that people won't pay my prices today, what happens is, why do you believe that? Because your brain zooms in on one person who said your offer was too expensive. But you instead ignore all the other people who are investing in similar programs. You subconsciously lower your prices or avoid selling altogether out of that fear. So that fear is causing an action where you're lowering your prices. But that's not what your future version would do. So I want you to really challenge these beliefs. For example, I'm bad at sales. If you had one failed sales call, your brain starts thinking, oh shit, I'm bad at sales, because you have a negativity bias, which is again locked into the human brain. And you feel like, shit, this one thing happened, now I'm bad at sales. But you overlook all the times that you sold effortlessly. And then what happens as a result of that? You hesitate to promote your offer. And when you hesitate to promote your offer, the circumstances that you don't get clients and you don't have results. For example, I'm not ready yet. Again, a limiting belief that you can have. You focus on everything that you don't know yet when you say I'm not ready yet. Because there's so many things in this industry, in any industry that you're working in, where you will feel like you don't know everything yet, because you will never know everything. Even an expert will never know everything. An expert just has a solution to a problem. You can go check out the other episode on expertise, where I talk about a different definition of expert that I inculcate in my life. I believe I'm an expert at what I do. I have the solution to your problem, which is why I'm an expert, right? And so you ignore the fact that you have already helped so many people with your knowledge in the past. You will find evidence for any belief system you want to believe in your life. You will always find evidence. So you need to choose what belief would you rather have, and then find evidence for that other belief so that you can make that other belief system strong and snap off the old belief that is not serving your higher version. Because when you do that, you either just stay stuck in the learning mode instead of actually taking action towards your goals, towards your dreams. You don't promote, you don't show up online, you don't get clients. That whole action of not showing up, of not being visible, of not promoting is all coming from that base fear that you're not good enough, that you're not going to be loved, that people are not going to understand what you're saying, that people are going to judge you and think you're cringe. And that fear always comes down to either the fear of not being seen, the fear of not being loved. Those are the two base human fears. So how can you give it to yourself first, right? Now, I want to share with you a 7-step subconscious rewiring method to help you shift any thoughts that are limiting you in a much more structured way, structured and clear way. So number one, if you're having a limiting belief, like people won't pay my prices, I want you to ask, is this thought yours? That people won't pay your prices? Or have you heard it from other people, or have probably like one or two clients would have said, it's too expensive and that's where you got it, right? Do you truly believe people won't pay your prices? Right? So I want you to ask, is this thought yours? If not, whose voice is it? Whose thoughts are these? It could be your clients, it could be your families, it could be coming from any conditioning. So I want you to ask, if not, whose voice is this? Whose thoughts are these? That's number two. Number three, is this 100% true for me that people won't pay my prices? Is it 100% true for me? Number four, what evidence do I have that it is not true for me? What evidence do I have that people will pay my price? What evidence do I have that I have a very aligned pricing for my ideal soulmate clients? Number five, what is the cost of holding on to this thought? When you say people won't pay my price, what actions are you taking? You are lowering your prices, or you're avoiding selling altogether. That is the cost. The cost is that people will never see your value, will never see your potency in the medicine that you're offering to the world. That is the cost. Are you really willing to give up on what your life could look like, on all the possibilities that your life could have, because of this one thought that people are not willing to pay you your price? So understanding the cost of holding on to this thought is number five. And number six, what is a more empowering and powerful thought to have? People will pay. There are people at every price point. People will pay me whatever I price my offer, because I truly believe and love what I'm giving out into the world, right? That's the most important, that you love what you're offering to the world. That's number six. And number seven, how different would life look like with this new thought, when you try out this new jacket and this new belief system that people will pay me at any price, and there are people and there's demand at every price that I put? How different would your life look like? You will confidently claim your price. You will stand behind it. You will never reduce. You will never offer discounts. You will never offer promotions. Instead, you will stay true to this price. And how different would life look? People would eventually see your value. You might get no's. When you increase your price, you might have a few no's. But your energy is calibrating to a higher level. It's calibrating to a different energetic field. And so after you get a few no's, you will have that client who comes in and says yes, and pays you in full the same day of the call. That shifts everything. That shows you. That's the test. That's universe's test. When everyone says no, 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 and you still stick to that price, that's universe's test, until that one client comes in and pays you your full price on day one, right? So this is my 7 steps of conscious rewiring questions. I really hope you've written them down. If you have a notepad next to you, or put them on your phone, like I like to do. I like to put all my notes on my phone. But it's always important for you to identify the belief that's really keeping you stuck. Seek out evidence that proves that the opposite is true, and then rewire your mind by feeding it a new belief. Every time your mind goes back to the old belief, be like, would my higher self think this? Would my higher self do this? And feed your mind the new belief. Making money can be easy. Clients do invest, and you are amazing at what you do. You can always be better. That's not what I'm saying, but you are already amazing. You already have wisdom and knowledge. You are doing so much more than you can see for yourself. And honestly, a third person can see it better. Sometimes we don't appreciate and see how far we've come in our life because of the negativity bias. So I want you to build more and more evidence for this new belief in your life. And it could be, the way you build this evidence is by putting yourself out there, by becoming more visible, right? And doing it consistently to rewire your subconscious mind. Now, just to end off this podcast, a few other activities that you could be doing is EFT tapping. If you don't know it, get on a call with me and we can work on that. EFT tapping, or you can also see some YouTube videos if you'd like to learn more about it. Right? So EFT tapping is it helps you energetically shift to a higher version, to a different identity, right? Through your affirmations. Or it helps you work on releasing certain emotions that you're feeling in the present moment, right? Conscious rewiring, which is what I did through the 7 steps of conscious method, that helps you rewire every time in the moment. Because I truly believe that healing happens in the moment. When you're having a negative thought, and in that moment, you're like, no, this is not what my higher version would think. This is not serving my future self. This is not serving me right now. It's not serving my higher self. So I'm not going to think this. Instead, I'm going to think this. And then give your mind the logic, the evidence why the other opposing belief, empowering belief is true for you. Challenging your beliefs, giving it evidence works wonders, right? Inner narrative, right? Like what I just did right now, how I'm talking to myself, that shifts you on a subconscious level, how you talk to yourself every day. Remember, you pick yourself up at the end of the day. There's no one coming to save you. How you talk to yourself is extremely, extremely important. So give that precedence in your life, your inner dialogue, your inner narrative. Mirror talk. You could also stand in front of a mirror every morning, talk to yourself, give yourself that love, write yourself that letter that that man never gave you. Give yourself all that love that you're seeking externally. Trust me, it is the most healing, the most beautiful thing you can do for yourself. You will feel full and whole in your body. And I want you to have those feelings because I have felt that. I went through a breakup recently and I never got the letter. And so I kind of gave it to myself in the form of a voice note. I told myself everything I needed to hear from him. How can you give yourself what you need from other people, right? So focusing on EFT tapping, on the 7-step subconscious rewiring method by doing it in the moment when you really need it, your inner narrative, changing your inner talk, your mirror talk, talking to yourself in front of the mirror, writing yourself a letter, voice noting to yourself. I love using my voice. I feel like my voice is very strong, so I like using my voice. Now, whatever's strong for you, you can use that. I'm not saying you need to do all of these activities. Honestly, I would just say one thing. It is all about be, do, and have. So how can you be first? How can you be your higher version and then take action from that higher energy? When I say higher energy, I'm not saying happy energy. I'm just saying the energy that your higher version is on. The energy of knowing that you are so worthy and powerful. That energy. What would you do if you just knew you were extremely worthy? If you knew that your higher version already had all of the things that you are now striving for, how differently would you act? And that helps you have. That's how the world works. It works in reverse, guys. So to end off, I want you to just take one thing from today's episode that you can apply in your life. One thing, one habit, whether that's mirror talk, whether that's changing your inner narrative, whether that's using my 7-step subconscious reprogramming method. Take one habit and put it into action consistently. If you want me to keep you accountable, or if you want to talk more about your habit to me and what you've chosen, or if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. I am here to support you. I want to see you thrive. That is literally my mission. When I see you happy, I'm happy. Happy people make me happy, which is why I got into DJing too, right? So please let me know how this works for you. And I would love to support you on your journey. Get into my DMs at Purpose with Pratna. Let's talk more. Thank you so much for being here. I absolutely loved this episode. It was impromptu, but I hope you loved it too. And I can't wait to talk to you soon. You're listening to Rebel with a Purpose, and I am Pratna signing off.